Hello again. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing? Hi, Frederick.
Hi, Oliver. Everything okay?
Everything fine over here. Thank you. With you?
Same old same. Never better.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So with me, of course, Kevin in the back, taking care of the technique, making sure that you can see my screen and get my voice loud and clear. Same Frederick in Hong Kong, helping me out later on with the questions, and I will try to find the right answers. Today, we have 3 products actually covered in this training, in this webinar. And these are 3 solutions we offer with HDMI connectivity, from a stereo receiver to a 5-channel to a 7-channel unit. And I'm just going to explain you the different use cases, the target customer, but also what is actually different and what is identical on these products. What are the common features, but where do we differentiate when it comes to the performance level? So actually, I said 3 solutions. Overall, you can see here on the first page, we have 5 units. Because of the X1800, we also have a DAB version. And the S670 is available as AVR, which means receiver. It includes also FM tuner. And the AVC, which is a pure amplifier, AV amplifier. Before going into this topic of the webinar, I just would like to share with you one nice award we received about 1.5 week ago, or at least I could pick up the award. I was in London, to be precise, in Ascot, and there was the EISA ceremony, and we got awarded for the best AV amplifier with the AVC A1H. So European hi-fi and video magazines rated our product as the best solution in the field for 2023-2024 with our 15-channel amplification and 15.4 channel of processing. So great achievement. On the next day, I visited the UK Hi-Fi show, which was also held in Ascot. And that's a nice story I just want to share with you, because it was quite funny. When I went over the corridors and did see the different booths and solutions and demonstrations, I bumped into one person, and I want to send my personal greetings to him. It's Simon. Hello, Simon. And we started talking, and then one of all, he mentioned, hey, I know you from the videos. I like your videos. So thank you, Simon, for watching, and keep on doing it. And let's stay in touch. Let's go into the webinar directly in with the 3 products. Let's start with the design. As you can see here, these are the 3 solutions we have. On the top, the X1800, then left bottom, the S670, and on the right, you see the DRA-900H. So slightly different than the power ratings. The X1800, 7 times 80 watt. The S670, slightly less, 75 watts, but 5 channels. And then we have the pure stereo receiver having 2 times 100 watt. And it's all RMS rated power, which means it's actually measured 2 channels driven, 8 ohm load, and the full frequency band 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz with a 0.08 THD distortion. So very important if you look up figures on the internet, on the web pages of different brands, you will always see different power ratings, and some might just rate, let's say 200 watts, but always be careful, pay attention to the measurement conditions. These are the most critical ones, having RMS, 8 ohm, full bandwidth, low distortion, then you get the real figures. Good. Looking to the design, you see these are slightly different for all of the 3. Top one, very clean, no direct access button on the X series. On the left-hand side, the S670 gets additional access buttons for sound modes and for quick select, which is very handy if you just want to change the setting quickly without having the remote at hand. And on the right-hand side, you can see the DRA-900H, which is actually following a hi-fi design. So you have direct access button for tone control, means treble and bass, but also balance. So in this respect, you already easily can identify these 3 solutions. Let's go into the use cases. We have the X1800. So that's actually a product where we see the customer who is actually seeking for performance, but who is really on a budget and can't spend thousands of euros to get the best overall performance or the power to drive big speaker solutions. Now we are here serving a customer who likes to have a good audio performance from a 7-channel solution, who also likes to go into 3D audio already, because this unit does support Dolby Atmos and DTS X, while the pricing of this product is still moderate with 799 euro. For the DAB version is 849. If you are a customer which is not interested at all into 3D audio, the S670 might be the right solution for you, because it features 5 channels of amplification. So you can do your Dolby Surround, your Dolby TrueHD, and your DTS Master audio. Yeah, having a 5.1/0.2 setup, because we have actually 2 subwoofer outputs. Then this one is a good solution for you, and you can save some money because this one is coming for 679 as the AV receiver, or 629 euro as the AV amplifier. I explained there's no FM tuner in. The third customer we have in mind here with the DRA-900 is the one who actually is only going for a stereo setup. He doesn't want to surround himself with a lot of speakers, but is just fine with front, left, right, and additional subwoofer if he likes, to get all the performance. And he is more into music maybe, but likes to have the convenience of having all his video sources also connected via the DRA-900. So because you have the same feature set like on the AV receivers, you also have the HDMI switching, the setup GUI, and so on, but in his 2-channel stereo setup. And this one is coming for 899. First of all, it sounds more expensive than the rest of the solution, but later in this presentation, I will explain you where this is coming from and why there's additional cost to that unit. So let's first have a look to the connectivity on the X1800. The rear panel you can see here. You know it all well. I'm not going into any details of the AV processing and whatsoever. You see the HDMI connectivity, full suite, network, DAB plus if you pick the DAB model. And you have 7 channels of amplification. That means surround speakers or top height speakers you can utilize, or you can also go just for a 5-channel setup and have a powered zone 2 in addition. So this flexibility you do have with the X1800. Looking to the S670, you will notice that we are lacking 2 speaker terminals at the bottom because we only have 5 channels of amplification. This means no height, no zone speakers possible. So it's just a surround setup you can do. And yeah, as mentioned before, you have no DAB version, but you have a pure amplifier version, the AVC or the AVR, the receiver version, which features FM radio. If we now look into the DRA-900, now pictured below, you can see that we have 2 pair of higher quality speaker terminals, speaker AB, which you can switch from the front panel or via the remote. And you can see that we have an extended digital connectivity on the top left. We also have a zone 2 pre-out. Yeah, so you actually can do a multi-zone setup with this unit. You will require either active speakers or an additional power amplifier for the zone 2 then. The terminals are of a higher quality. They are gold-plated for better connectivity. Same counts also for the speaker terminals. They are higher quality standard than what you will find on an AV receiver. So the whole approach is more a hi-fi approach here. Made to perform. Just I would like to show you the similarities between these products, the same feature. They all have HDMI capability, HDMI switching, 1 HDMI output. You have the full support of 8K, 4K, 120 Hertz on 3 of the 6 inputs. And one important thing I would like to mention here is what we utilize as a new function within the processing is that we have a jitter suppression, which is mentioned on the top right corner. This jitter suppression will improve HDMI audio quality significantly because we do reduce this jitter, gives you cleaner performance. Second topic is new HD GUI. You have seen it in the other presentations from the last year or also beginning of this year. our new HD GUI. Of course, that's also supported by all of these 3 units. And then we have audio quality. Well, we made to perform. Audio quality is always very high on the list, because what do you want to do with all the nice features if you can't stand the sound quality because it's crap? No, audio is number 1 for us. On the video side, as mentioned, 8K capability on 3 of the 6 inputs. You can see all the video features are supported from HDMI 2.1 standard, be it high dynamic range, VRR, QFT, ALLM, and so on. So it's all there on all the units. Then the HD GUI, just to give you a quick reminder here. On the left-hand side, you can see the new HD GUI, 1080p resolution. It looks pretty nice. It's crisp and sharp, and gives you an easy way to set up the product via the setup wizard, or also to fine-tune later on while entering the setup menu. You can do all the settings and also get some additional information, what actually you're doing on the settings, what kind of explanation of the feature on each of the pages. Right-hand side is the old 480p standard GUI. So quite an improvement. Then we do have, of course, our Denon remote app and the web interface, also what you heard on the other AV models we launched already. So via the Denon AVR remote app, you can also now enter the web control, and the web control gives you the access to the full setup menu as you are used to via the TV screen. By that, you can actually nicely do all the settings of your AVR or stereo receiver via your smart device. Then we have the quick select, of course, also on all of the units. And the quick select, by just the press of a button, you can recall a scene. Means, okay, I want to play CD, I want to have it on a volume level of 56. Then I want to have it in multi-channel stereo or any other surround mode, of course not on the stereo receiver. But these kind of settings you can all put behind the quick select. I listed a few over here, but you can also do much more, and you can also customize these. Then the interface to the internet, the network, to music streaming, to AirPlay and Bluetooth, to voice control, and of course to streaming high resolution music from your own network storage is a HEOS technology, which is built in our HEOS network module, allowing all the streaming capability, but also allowing to add additional HEOS equipped units to your home and do a multi-room by that, sharing the information running on one unit to the other one in perfect sync. Then we have the Bluetooth connectivity. Of course, you can stream to the unit, but we also can turn it around, and we can broadcast or transmit from the receiver to your Denon headphones or any other Bluetooth capable headphones. And you can do that, either you're using Bluetooth for sending signals to the receiver, or you use the Bluetooth to send signals to your headphones. So that means, for example, you're listening to internet radio or Spotify Connect or whatsoever, or you're watching a movie, and you can stream in parallel to the speaker output, but also individual via the Bluetooth to your headphones. And the nice thing is that you also now can adjust the volume level on the receiver, just dedicated to the headphones. So if there's no volume control on your headphones, it's now handled via the receiver. A very handy feature, of course, as well is the powered USB connectivity on the rear, so that you directly can hook up your Fire TV stick, for example, and just get the power out of the receiver. It handles 5 volt, 1.5 ampere. That's enough to feed all these streaming devices, and you don't have to run additional power cords or additional power adapters to power up the Fire TV stick. So that's a very handy feature. So these are the similar features we have on all of the units. Let me now go a bit into the technical side, where I'm going to show you the differences between the AV receivers, but also the difference towards the stereo receiver. So sound quality, as you know, our sound quality, we have our sound master Yamauchi-san, and we defined it as a vivid and spacious, the sound of Denon. And vivid actually means that it should be lively, it should be crisp, it should be very detailed, and it should be right in front of you. So it should really engage you into the music. And direct and powerful bass or high dynamic, that should be all represented in the Denon sound very nicely. And the spacious sound actually is filling the room. Yeah, so it should not just come out of your speakers, but actually fill the room around the speakers. And so actually the speakers themselves should disappear. It should only be the sound in the room. And involving the listener is actually making the listener part of whole the sound stage, the sound field created. Yeah, it shouldn't be just listening to it, but the listener should be really into it, should really get involved. This we always take as our guidelines if we go for the tuning of the product. The Denon core values, just to repeat it a bit here, best possible quality through the latest connectivity and Internet of Things connectivity. So we're always aiming to have the latest technologies to get you the best performance, the most reliable connectivity, the latest feature set. We are technology leaders. That's where we always are looking for new solutions, not only for, like just described features, but also what kind of new electronic parts are available on the market, which will enhance the customer experience, which will enhance the performance. Audio legacy, we just talked about the sound quality, the sound philosophy of Denon. Of course, that's what we always have in mind when we do the design of the product. And especially our engineering excellence is something we can't miss. That's something you just can't build up within a year or so. That's built up generation by generation over years to come to a high level of quality and a high level of experience. And then we do have, of course, the best-in-class user experience. I showed you briefly the HD GUI, the overall operation of the product, via the remote handset, via the smart app on your phone, be it for the HEOS or just for the AV receiver directly. So this is all the experience we want to give to the customer. He actually should enjoy the product and don't worry about how to operate it. It should be intuitive. So let's go into the design philosophy of the products. I pictured here the inside of the X1800. And you can see that I marked two areas. On the left-hand side, this red rectangle is the main PCB, where you actually find the power supply on and the output stage, which is pictured at the end or on top of the picture, where you also can see the heatsink, the silver aluminum one, where all the transistors are mounted on for the amplification. On the right-hand side, you can see the power inlet and the power transformer on top, and directly running the wire to the bridge diode, which is a rectifier, which is actually then loading the capacitors, which are left beside it. So I can also highlight it, just comes into my mind here. Here we go. Yeah, so power transformer, and then it goes to the rectifier, to the main capacitors. That's the main power supply of the unit. And then you have the main board. And in the end here, we do have the different power stages for all the different channels. For the X1800, these are, of course, 7. If I move on, you can see that the same design philosophy is also done for the S670, while the power transformer, or maybe I'm going to show it on the next page. Here you can see now we only have 5 channels mounted on the heatsinks. So it's all a bit smaller. And that you can also see on the next slide here, because here I highlighted now the key differences in the power of the unit, which is actually the power transformer. That's the one of the X1800, while the one of the 670 is slightly smaller. And the main capacitors, which get loaded by the rectifier, these are the one of the S670. These are from Nichicon. While on the X1800, we do use a different type of main capacitors from Suscon. So actually, if you compare the values, it's 10,000 microfarad on both of these. However, the inner construction is completely different, and they do have a different sound characteristic, or let's say better resolution, more energy. And by that, you can also get a better sound quality from the X1800 in comparison to the X70. While the X70 is, of course, a bit cheaper. So there you have to make your choice. If you go one further, you can see that's minimum signal pass, which I just showed you for the power supply, is also applied within the construction of the preamplifier. So here, top view, on top left now, you can see the power supply switching mode over here for standby and the power transformer, which are a kind of noise source because there can some radiation from this area. So that's why we put the analog section right to the opposite side of the product. By that, we do have a wide separation between these two units, so less interference. And then if we look directly, have a closer look to the analog part, you can see also here, we do have the shortest signal path. On top, we do have the analog inputs over here. On the left lower, we have the digital part, where the digital signal gets DA converted, so it gets analog as well. It will be sent directly to the preamplifier, where you do the tone control and volume, and then it already goes directly to the power amplifier. Yeah, so also here we pay a lot of attention to keep signal paths as short as possible and not to risk any interference to the audio signal. So let's have one brief look to the feature set of the S670 and X1800 before stepping into the DRA-900. As said, 5x 75 watt, HDMI connectivity, 8K, Dolby TrueHD and DTS Master audio, that's all covered. We do have Odyssey multi-EQ calibration, of course, on board. So you can do an auto setup by microphone. Very easy and straightforward for the customer. We have the high-res audio support, new HD graphic user interface, which makes the operation and the setup even easier and more pleasant. We have the Bluetooth headphone support, as explained, the rear USB power supply, and the phono input. Didn't talk about that one yet, but on all of the 3 units, you do have phono MM. You know, phono is very popular, vinyl playback, and we spent some effort also to have a decent MM input on the receivers. As I explained, we do have 2 versions. AVR is the one with the FM tuner built-in. AVC is a pure AV amplifier, 5 channels, 2 subwoofer outputs. 3 things to remember. I would like to bring back what we used a few years ago. Just a reminder what to consider if you go for an S series. Superior value for money. You get the Denon quality for a very low budget. You might have to make some compromise on the number of channels and overall performance, but the feature set is just great. It's simple to use and set up. Yeah, I mentioned we have the Odyssey calibration and the HD setup assistant, which is very nice. And you have, of course, what everybody needs is a HEOS connectivity to get streaming your music from all the internet sources or from your smart device. Let's have a look to the X1800. 7 channel of amplification, 80 watts, so slightly more. As mentioned before, it's RMS power on 8 ohm. We have the same HDMI connectivity. We have the support for the 3D audio formats, Dolby Atmos and DTS. The Odyssey calibration built in here is the multi-EQ XT, so 1 step up in the performance level. And for the rest, the feature set is very similar. So the AVR X1800 comes as an AVR with just FM tuner or even as a DAB Plus version, so having also support of DAB audio. So then 3 things to remember on the X series. We are the audio experts. Yeah, I think that's what you really can see in the X series already, that we do spend much more money also to on the components, on the parts, on a bigger transformer and the main capacitor to elevate the audio performance and where we really can live our audio experience. Then we are the most awarded AVR brand, so you will find our products all over the magazines with a highly recommended or 5-star. So we very well awarded, very well reviewed. And of course, we also have here our HEOS Built-in technology. Yeah, let's continue now with having a closer look to the DRA-900, our superb audio performance from a stereo receiver, which has features like you know from AV receivers. Let me start directly with the list of the features and already give you a bit of explanation already by that. 2.2 means, okay, it's stereo, and we also support a subwoofer connection for 2 subwoofers, which are running in parallel. But you already can see the output power is higher. It's 100 watt. That comes from a bigger power supply and a different type of main capacitor. So I'm going to show these details in a bit. Yeah, and that's also what I just mentioned. The second point here, stronger power supply and selected components. Of course, it's all done to really make this a hi-fi product, the hi-fi approach. And the way the amplification stage, the power stage is built is like you know it from a hi-fi amplifier. We have, of course, the direct tone control and balance. On the front, you have the hi-fi style design as well. You do have the support of HEOS and the streaming services, high-resolution audio, new HD graphic user interface, HDMI connectivity, Bluetooth, so all this what you have heard before. Phono M input, FM and DAB tuner. It's both built in right away. There's no differentiation by 2 different units. The DRA-900H has both built in FM and DAB plus tuner. And we do have front left-right outputs and subwoofer pre-out. Front left-right pre-outs often used in the Scandinavian countries because they do like their generic active speakers to connect to these kind of products. And the subwoofer pre-outs, of course, if you're running smaller bookshelf speakers and you want to have more support in the bass, you can just connect a subwoofer. Or if you're a fan of bass and you run your front speakers, you can also add subwoofers, of course, to support and get more bass. Then let's have a look to the cosmetic. Also here, the hi-fi approach. I explained about the direct control buttons you can see nicely on here. But also the unit is coming with an aluminum front in comparison to the other 2 receivers shown, which have a composite. This is a real aluminum front. So same aluminum like we do use on our CD players, for example, or on the amplifiers, on the hi-fi amplifiers. By that, it's sort of nicely possible to combine the DRA-900 also with the DCD-900. You get a perfect match in the color and the material. And what you can see here, left-hand side and right-hand side, is just the 2 setups, one time with a PMA 900, just to give you a bit of a feeling how this can look like. It also comes in 2 color versions. So we have, of course, black as always, but also the DRA-900H will come in the premium silver. This is only valid for EU, just to let you know. For the rest, for some other regions, please check it out carefully because it might be just black available. Then let's have a look to the connectivity. Here the rear image, as you can see, I showed it before already, but I just would like to highlight here again the hi-fi approach we do with better connectivity, better RCA terminals, a premium type of RCA terminals, gold-plated for high reliability, best connectivity, not losing any bit of the audio signal, a higher quality type of speaker terminal as well, like used on the hi-fi amplifiers. And we do have speaker AB, yeah, which can be either used as speaker A, speaker B, for example, for a different room, or you have 2 setups of speakers where you would like to switch, or whatsoever. Then we do have also the hi-fi remote commands. That means that actually I can control the DRA-900 also with a hi-fi remote. Means I also can control it with the remote of the DCD-900. So I don't have to swap remotes. So that's also very convenient. That really puts it into the hi-fi category. And then let's have a look about the versatility we do have on the DRA-900, because it's not lacking any of connectivity here. As you can see here, is a very wide umbrella of connectivity and feature set. So it does start with DAB, AM, FM. It's all covered. Then you have, of course, analog, optical, coaxial connectivity, the phono MM for your record player. Then you have all the HDMI connectivity, means 6 in total inputs, 3 of them 8K capable. You have HDMI ARC to get your TV sound back into the receiver with just a single cable. USB-A connectivity. You have the HEOS connectivity for all the streaming, multi-room, access of music on your NAS drive. And then you have Bluetooth for streaming, but as well for broadcasting transmission to your wireless headphone. Pair of speakers, pair of subwoofers. You can connect actually everything and listen and enjoy all the different sources. Best-in-class sound, hi-fi approach. Just a list of features I do have here, which I'm going to cover on the next slide, at least most of them. Optimized layout, it's a stereo amplifier. It's done or built like a hi-fi amplifier, as mentioned before. Circuitry minimal signal pass, so that's of course something we inherited or also doing on the AV receivers. I showed you already. We do have different power supplies for different channels and different grounding, just to get a better separation and better sound quality. We have selected components, different type of main capacitors, oxygen-free copper winding power transformer. I'm going to explain also a bit about it. Double differential duct, jitter suppression function on the HDMI source. I explained at the beginning, just to improve the audio quality of HDMI. And then, of course, the DRA-900 also got extended sound tuning to really make it a hi-fi product. Let's have a look inside. Looks pretty similar on the first glance. However, if you especially compare the right side here, where is all the analog board with the preamplifier and the DAC mode. If you compare it later on with the picture I have showed you of the AV receiver, you will see it's designed differently, just to follow the hi-fi approach. But also here, as before, separation between the noise source, which is the power supply in a certain respect, to the analog part. So also here we made the most distance possible between these. Let's have a look to the power transformer. It's also a different version than used on the AV receivers. We do use an OFC, oxygen-free copper. This means actually that the copper itself and which is used for the winding of the transformer, where all the current runs through, is of higher purity. There's no oxygen somehow in the material, which can increase the resistance, the impedance. And the benefit that you have a very low impedance, which actually means you have less loss of power on the transformer, and you can run a higher current. So overall, you get a higher purity and you get a better power, a cleaner power, which of course in the end is reflected in a better sound quality. The main capacitors, that's the one which comes transformer, rectifier, the bridge diode is going to load the main capacitors. The main capacitor actually feeding the power amplifier stage with the energy. And you can see also here we again using 10,000 microfarads. I hope I can show it here. 10,000 microfarad. However, it's again a different type of main capacitor. This one is now especially made for Denon, so it's Denon branded as well. Also here we have the possibility to give the audio performance an extra kick. And that's as well in the power amplifier for the preamplifier stage. We do also use different type of audio grade capacitors, so hi-fi grade capacitors. If we look to the overall construction of the power amplifier, on the left hand side you can see how the construction is done. The main capacitors over here are very close to actually to the power stages, left, right and left channel. And you can see that it's a very balanced layout. So they are identical, which actually means perfect balance, perfect sound image, because you get a perfect stereo image. And you can actually create a big sound stage with all details pinpoint to a fixed position, and nothing is smeared or cloudy. It's just clear and well presented and a stable image. And yeah, also on the right hand side, you can see how this construction is done, like in hi-fi amplifier. And that's yeah, just to explain the setup of the power amplifier stage. In the center, you see the main capacitors, which directly supply the power to the left and right channels, the power amplifier channels. And just above the main capacitors, you can see the first stage of the power amplifier, which do have separate power supplies for the right channel and for the left channel. So this again is done to have a better channel separation for more precision and clarity. And if we just have a look to our solution on the left-hand side, shown for the 900H, and if you see what some competitors are doing to make a stereo AV receiver, they're just taking out some of the other channels, keep the same board, and only have the left and right channel equipped with parts, but the rest is just identical to what has been done on an AV receiver. This is not the Denon approach. If we go for an AV receiver, it's an AV receiver. If we go for a stereo receiver, we really make it a stereo receiver, as you can see. And just one thing more I would like to highlight is the DA conversion section, because also here we do a bit of extra effort to get the best audio performance. You know, digital signal you get from HDMI, HDMI ARC, network streaming, or the optical or coaxial digital inputs, or as well from a DAB+ digital tuner. So to treat the digital signal to its best, we do utilize an 8-channel DA converter. Yeah, actually we would be just fine with having, yeah, let's say 4, because we do need left, right, and the 2 subwoofers. Well, actually with 3, because the subwoofers are set in parallel. However, we do utilize an 8-channel DA converter, and by that can run a so-called double differential mode to refine the signal and get a better signal-to-noise ratio. So let's have a quick look here. That's a standard solution of a DA converter. Out of a DA converter, 1 channel, you get the plus minus for the left channel as shown here. It's a differential signal. It goes to an op amp, and then the left channel signal will get outputted. For the DRA-900, we'll do the double differential solution. Yeah? If I go to the DA converter, you can see I get the front left plus minus 2 times. And I run it to a differential stage here. So that's the first differential stage. And then to a second differential stage. So that's why we call it double differential. And then it goes to the output. By that, we can increase the accuracy and have a better signal-to-noise ratio. So more purity, more cleaner, yeah, more details in the end, more precision. And on the right-hand side, you can see how it is built on the PCB board, actually. So you have the 8-channel DA converter. Then you have the first stage of the differential and the second stage. And you can see all surrounded by higher quality audio parts. Yeah, just for the best audio performance. And that you will also find in all other sections of the product. Yeah, it's really built like a hi-fi product, plus the capability of HDMI connectivity and HEOS network streaming, optical, coaxial, digital inputs. That's all done in a very nice way. If you compare the main board, which you can see now on top here, top left is the HDMI chipset, which is underneath there. In the center is the HEOS module. That's exactly built like on the AV receiver. On the right-hand side, I mentioned before, that's the analog input stage, the DA converter stage, and preamplifier stage. This is already different to the AV solutions. So that already explains, I think, a bit about why the products do have different price tags and why the DRA-900 is actually more expensive than the X1800 while it has less channels built in. But the money is spent just on different sections of the product to really make it a hi-fi solution. Just to summarize here again, the feature list, all the stuff we just covered with a 2x100 watt 8 ohm RMS, 8K HDMI, high quality audio parts, high quality power supply, FM, DAB tuner, phono. It's all there. Yeah, so really a product to perform, to give you the nicest hi-fi performance. And that's actually the typical use case here. You either have on the left-hand side shown your stereo setup. So that's not the use case for the DRA-900H. You have your stereo setup with left and right, and if you like, you can also add on a subwoofer. If you want to compare, you can also do two different type of speakers and switch A/B, or of course you can put this speaker B in a second room. So you have the stereo audio performance of a Denon hi-fi amplifier with the convenience of an AV receiver when it comes to HDMI switching, setup menu, on-screen display, and so on. So that's the DRA-900 use case. If we step up one more on the number of channels, not on the feature set or the price, but on the number of channels, you do come to the AVR S670 or ABC S670. The difference is one is with FM tuner, the other one is without. What you can do is a 5-channel setup very easily, plus a subwoofer to enjoy Dolby TrueHD and DTS HD Master audio. Nevertheless, of course, this unit you can also nicely use to listen to stereo. Yeah, there's no blocker in the way. It's already still enjoyable. So if you go for a real stereo setup, of course, the performance level you can reach will be higher for a 5.1 setup. And if you go to the X1800, you have the more flexibility now for the use cases. Yeah, so as I explained, you get the Denon performance, but if you're on a budget, this would be the solution for you to enjoy 3D audio already, because this unit does come with 7 channels of amplification. As you can see on the left-hand side, you can make it really just a surround with 7 channel setup, but you also can add 5 channels on your floor and having additional 2 channels on the ceiling. This can be, I now pictured here a top middle, but there can be as well front height or rear height. So also here the configuration is very flexible. You can do also bi-amping if you like. So if you have big front speakers and you do want to separate between bass and mid and high frequency, you can do a bi-amping as well as one solution. Or you can also do a powered zone 2. Yes, then you have 5.1 in the main room, and you can run a second pair of speakers in a second room. So you see you're not only getting more power in comparison to the X70, but also you get more flexibility. And you get, of course, 3D audio, plus a better calibration system, because you do get Multi-EQ XT on this unit, while on the 670, it is Multi-EQ. It's all summarized on this list here again, left to right, 1800, 670, and then the 900. Different price tags. HDMI feature set is the same. Maximum audio processing channels, of course, as explained, is different, 7.1, 5.1, 2.1. We do have the support of Dolby Atmos and DTS X on the X1800, while it's Dolby Surround and Master Audio on the S670. And there's, of course, no surround on the DRA-900. However, if you connect an HDMI source to it or your TV ARC, it will automatically detect on the DRA-900 that it is only a 2-channel product and will only send 2-channel contents to the unit itself. So then internally in the source or on the TV side, the down conversion happens from Dolby to 2-channel. Different type of DA converters, as you can see. We do have the Denon Hi-Fi amplifier design, of course, on the DRA-900, as well as the preamplifier mode. If you just want to run the unit as a preamplifier, I explained to you about Scandinavian countries and generic. HD graphic user interface, same. 8K connectivity, same. We have HEOS, of course, built in for streaming in multi-room. AirPlay Bluetooth transmission covered, also with volume control. The USB powered socket on the rear. 2 are available. one on the front, one on the rear. On the front, you can use to hook up your USB stick or USB drive. On the rear, you can use to power up, for example, the Fire TV stick. Yeah, on DFB or FM and DAB Plus tuner, it's a bit different. As explained, you have a DAB version for the X1800. On the 670, you have a pure amplifier version or one version where you get FM radio. And on the DRA-900, you have both available. And on the cosmetic, on the design, as mentioned, aluminum front, you only will get on the DRA-900. And let me picture them all again on one slide one more time. 7 times 80 watt, 5 times 75 watt, and 2 times 100 watt. These are the power specs, always measured RMS. And you can see here the DRA-900 is available in 2 colors, comes with aluminum from 4 EU regions. For other regions, please double check. So that was my little webinar on these 3 different solutions covering HDMI connectivity with the different number of channels, paired with a different number of channels and different focus points and different use cases. So I hope we do have many questions. Frederick, hello.
Yes, thank you, Oliver, for the detailed walkthrough. We have a handful of questions, so I think my job is going to be slightly easier today. So let's dive in with the first question, a very good one. Do all 3 receivers have the LFE distribution feature since they all have the same menu, the same new GUI?
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. They differ. So on the S670 as well as the X1800, yes, you do have the same LFE distribution concept like you have seen on the AV receivers, while on the DRA-900, we don't have it. So there's no base management.
That's making perfectly sense, of course. A design question. On your stereo amplifier, I think is referring to the DRA-900H. Why do you keep the same phase as the AVR and not like a vintage phase or a phase with VU meters? More like a hi-fi look. Just the reason why we put a screen there.
Sounds nice. Would love to go for such a product, but you will not be able to reach the 899 price tag we are on now. Yeah, so of course, we do have to make some compromises to stay attractive to a wider group by the price tag we put on a product. If you would go all in and having nice different cosmetic design, maybe even with VU meters, it will be a completely different ball game and a completely different price class. Yeah, by utilizing main parts of the AV receiver design, we are able to keep the price moderate in a certain way. However, we added these direct tone control buttons on the front or knobs on the front just to give it a touch more of a hi-fi product. More important than the cosmetic ID, I think, is what I showed you inside, what we have done to make it a hi-fi product.
Exactly. It's all about the sound, isn't it? A very good question also about probably the same device, DRA-900H. Can the speaker groups A plus B be switched on and off separately via the HEOS app? And then there's an additional question after that. If so, can the volume be independently selected separately?
Okay, so let me answer the last question first, because that's an easy one. Speaker AB are always in parallel on these units. That means that actually you also have the same volume level. There's no possibility to have it independent. Can you switch it on the HEOS app? I don't know. I have to double check if it's possible to select it via the HEOS app. What for sure is possible, via the HEOS app, you can also open the app to control all the features of the DRA-900H very easily by tapping the remote app icon on the music tab of the HEOS app, and then you can select also speaker A, speaker B, or speaker A plus B.
Okay, the next question. Is it possible to assign rear and center speakers as large in the receiver GUI menu for the 1800H? Since in the model 2800H, there is no such possibility. Sometimes it's necessary for commercial installations, for example, for in-ceiling speakers.
I don't know why there should be a limitation. As long as you have your front channels large, center as well as surround should be able to be set to large.
I was also under the understanding that you can individually change whether it's large or small, right? What would grossly be the power of the AVR 1800 with 7 channels powered at 8 ohms? And this is 20 to 20 kilohertz.
So let's say we do apply the 70% guarantee. So that's for 5 channels driven. So let me roughly do a guess. I don't have exact figures, but I would roughly say about 50 watts.
Okay, it works for me. Question that came in via email. Do these amplifiers, and I assume all 3 of them, or any of these 3, have the option to change the impedance settings from 4 to 6 or 8 ohms?
Yes, you can do. That's possible via the menu.
Okay, I'm refreshing the email to see if anything else came in. I think we're through. We have addressed all the questions. There was one comment that it was nice to see how we differentiate ourselves from competitors by showing how they are doing it and how we are doing it different. So that obviously makes us stand out. I think we're through. Oliver, that's it for today.
Great. Yeah, so that tells me actually the more and more webinars you join, the more and more you learn, the less and less questions will pop up. Thank you so much for being with us and spending the time to listen to my webinar. I hope you enjoyed it and got some additional information and inspiration how to sell these 3 different units to a specific customer to find really a solution for the customer to give him the best for his budget or for his needs. Let me just point out one more time. I think if you look around in our industry and with different brands, I think Denon does really stand out with the number of solutions we do provide for the different customer needs. I think you will not find any of the other brands having these type of 3 solutions available in such a price class. Our portfolio is really very extended, and you have seen all the different options as well. I think that's a good argument to go for Denon and find a solution for your customer instead of picking another brand. Okay, take care. Thanks for all, and bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Until next time.